Hi students, welcome back to today's class. Now we are going to see about computer forensics and then cyber law and IT Act and then common social networking sites and then appropriate usage of social networks. So these are the topics we are going to see in this video. So let us move on to the topic that is computer forensics. Okay, cybercrime already we have discussed in the previous video. Now we are moving to computer forensics. What is meant by computer forensics? Computer forensics or digital forensics refers to methods used for interpretation of computer media for digital evidence. That is, in order to make a digital evidence, they need to collect some kind of evidence. No, if they want to submit some evidences in the court, okay, against the cyber criminal activity, so that computer media need to be used. Okay, that is digital device. From those digital devices we need to collect the data and interpret those data. Okay, so the data analysis and investigation and analysis, the practice of investigation and analysis is known only computer forensics. Okay, in order to give that evidence in a proper format to the court of law. Okay, so digital forensics or computer forensics refers to methods used for interpretation of computer media for digital evidence. Okay, and computer forensics provides a legal system with a way to recover data from electronic or digital devices. So it is providing our legal system with a way to recover the data from the electronic devices or digital devices. Okay, we need to recover the data in order to in order to make the evidence, proper evidence. Okay, so computer forensics is a systematic process, okay, that interprets electronic data for use in a court of law. So the goal of process is to preserve any evidence. Okay, that is, we need to safeguard any evidence in its most original format while performing a structured investigation by collecting, identifying and validating the digital information for the purpose of reconstructing the past events. So whenever we are collecting the evidence from the digital devices, that originality should not be changed. Our data interpretation, data changes should not occur, or any kind of changes no should not occur to make that evidence to be changed from the original one. Okay, so that kind of process only known as computer forensics. It is a systematic process that interprets electronic data for use in a court of law. So what are the steps we have in a that is in a digital forensics investigation process? No, the steps involved are: first one is data identification, second one is project planning, and then data capturing, and then after capturing the data, what we need to do, we need to process the data and analyze the data, display the data, and finally report should be generated for the data. Okay, so important practices of computer forensics. Computer forensic combines the elements of law and computer science, okay, so as to collect the digital evidences while ensuring that the collection process has retained the data integrity. That means what? Data should not get lost in any place. Okay, that is only integrity. Okay, we should not have any loss in the data, any changes in the data. Okay, so collecting the digital evidences while ensuring that the collection process has retained data integrity, which means having proof that this digital evidence is not planted or the data has not been altered during investigation. That means that the data has not been altered during investigation. The proof, whatever proof we have collected, no, that this digital evidence is not planted, that is, it is not made on our own, or the data that has not been altered during investigation. That should be ensured while we are doing this process. Okay, so that is computer forensics follows the following practices. Whatever practices are followed by computer forensics are: acquire the evidence, that is, collect the evidence or get the evidence without altering or damaging the original, and authenticate that your recovered evidence is the same as the originally seized data. Okay, that is originally captured data, how it was the same, like that evidence also should be there. Okay, so authenticate, we need to authenticate that your recovered evidence is the same as the originally seized data, and analyze the data without modifying it. So these are the practices need to be followed in the computer forensics, that is in the investigation and analysis process of the data evidence. Okay, and next is cyber law and IT Act, Information Technology Act. Cyber law is a generic term which refers to all the legal and regulatory aspects of internet and the world wide web. So how we need to use the internet or world wide web in a legal way or in a regulatory way means. Okay, so that is only the cyber law says. Okay, so anything concerned with or related to or emanating or that is originating from any legal aspects or issues concerning any activity of netizens or and others in a cyberspace comes within the ambit of cyber law. Okay, so the growth of electronic commerce has propelled that need for that is it is pushing that the need for vibrant and effective regulatory mechanisms which would further strengthen the legal infrastructure. There is more more rules need to be framed in order to whenever we are using the internet. Okay, so regulatory should be there and legally all the sites need to be used properly. Okay, so the crucial to the success of electronic commerce, all these regulatory mechanisms and legal infrastructures come within the domain of cyber law. Okay, so cyber law is important because it touches almost all aspects of the transactions and activities on and concerning the internet, world wide web and the cyberspace. Okay, and India's IT Act and IT Amendment Act 2008. Okay, so in India, the cyber laws are enforced through. Okay, how the cyber laws are enforced in India? Information Technology Act, that is IT Act 2000, which was notified on 17th October 2000. It is based on the United Nations Commissions for International Trade Related Laws model law. Okay, so this law is based on UNICITRAL law. Okay, and IT Act 2000's prime purpose was, what is the prime aim of this IT Act 2000? To provide legal recognition to electronic commerce. Okay, so for e-commerce, legally recognition should be provided and to facilitate filing of electronic records with the government. Okay, electronic records, we can file it with the government. That facility is also provided by this law, by this act, that is to provide the legal infrastructure for e-commerce in India. Okay, and the act was later amended in 2008 December through IT Amendment Act 2008. Okay, it provided additional focus on information security also. It has added several new sections on offenses including cyber terrorism, data protection. The Information Technology Amendment Act 2008 came into force from October 27, 2009 onwards. It came into force. Okay. Major amendments of IT Act 2008 included, what and all included in this act? Digital signatures, that is authentication of electronic records by digital signatures get legal recognition. So digital signatures should be there for the records. So that is used that is considered to be as a legal one. Okay, and electronic governance, that means e-documents get legal recognition. Documents required as per the law by any arm of the government may be supplied in electronic form. And offenses and penalties, maximum penalty for any damage to computers or computer systems is a fine up to rupees 1 crore of fine need to be collected if any kind of damage has happened to computers or computer systems. And amendments to other laws, the other related acts such as Indian Penal Code 1860, Indian Evidence Act 1872, the Bankers Book Evidence Act 1891, the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934 were to be amended to align them with IT Act. Okay, so all these laws are, all these uh, major amendments and acts are included in this IT Act 2008. Okay, and next is common social networking sites. A social networking site is a web application. So social networking site means what? It is actually a web application. It is an application software or online platform where people can set up their public profile and make connections with other online people who have also set up their profile on the same platform. So if any other people also set up their profile on the same social networking site, they both can communicate with each other. They called online friends. Okay, and there are many social networking sites available. We are listing below some common and popular social networking sites. So first one is Facebook. It is a platform to set up your page where you can share your ideas in the form of post. You can share your photos and videos also. Through Facebook, you can connect with other Facebook users and exchange the messages, posts, etc. It allows you to view the post, images, videos shared by your friends also, and provides option to like it or comment on it, etc. So we can make a comment on the post also or messages also, or we can like also, dislike also. All those things we can do it with our friends. Okay, Twitter. It is a micro blogging site, okay, which allows to post very small messages. We can post it. Earlier, it was limited to 140 characters. Now we can type maximum of 280 characters. We can able to type to exchange the messages. Okay, it is a micro blogging site. And LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is actually social networking site for professionals. Okay, so working employees, they can share their resume and work experience, education, volunteer work, what they are doing, and certifications, what they got, and what and all awards they have won. All those details they can put it in that social networking site. Okay, it provides features to make profiles look sort of detailed resumes with sections for what and all sections are there for this detailed resume: work experience, education, volunteer work, certifications, awards, and all sorts of the other relevant work related information. You can put it in this site. And Instagram, mainly it is used for sharing the real time photos and short videos, okay, while on the go. Okay, that is live video, live photos, you can share it in this Instagram. So it is one of the most popular social networks for online photo sharing. It offers features like sharing real-time photos and short videos while on the go. So some other popular social networking sites are Google Plus, Pinterest, and Snapchat, Reddit, etc. So these are the other social networking sites we are having for some purposes. Okay, and now we are going to next one, that is last topic: appropriate usage of social networks. So we have seen now for some examples like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn, etc. Okay, now, what is the usage of these social networks? Why we need to have these social networks? Okay, social media is everywhere nowadays. Okay, these days, the direct and indirect connectivity with social media has made it too difficult to remain entirely anonymous these days. Okay, in fact, the openness that the internet offers has resulted into bigger challenge, sometimes danger, that the information we post online can be shared like never before. So it spread like a wildfire and it will be reaching to any corner of the world. Okay, so whatever messages or postings or comments we are posting on the social media, that will be spread like a wildfire. Okay, so we should be very careful whenever we are posting the messages on the online. Okay, do you know that whatever you do online, post something or visit friends pages or search something, etc., leaves a permanent footprint? Okay, that is called a digital footprint. That is your history information and which websites and all you have referred, the history information, all those things will be stored in one place. Okay, and it remains for years, storing trails of your online activities. Okay, and digital footprints means these are the records and traces of individuals activities as they use the internet. So whenever you are using the internet, you are leaving your traces and you are leaving your footprints. Okay, so the digital footprints are permanently stored. Even if you delete also, it will be stored in the main server. Okay, what you should know here: while using social networking sites, you must know about the right online behaviors. That is correct online behaviors we should know whenever we are using the social media. And what a cybercrime means. This all we should know whenever we are using the social networking sites. I have read about some cybercrimes above. Okay, cyber stalking, cyber trolling, bullying, etc. You have seen. If one thinks that by making some anonymous profile and using fake information, he or she can do such activities without getting caught, he or she is certainly mistaken. Okay, modern technology tools can find anyone online using IP address, location, etc. We can easily find out the person who is using posting those messages. Okay, with the help of IP address, location, we can easily get their details. Okay, so one must not indulge in these activities at all. Okay, even if we are building fake profile also, it is not a matter to find out which IP address that social accounting media was used. Okay, social networking site was accessed from which IP address and location, everything they'll get easily. Okay, so one must not indulge in these activities at all. Further, everything gets added to your digital footprint. Okay, your activities, your behavior, what kind of a person you are, everything based on your search history information, easily any person can come to know your activity, your behavior, your character entirely. Okay, so digital footprints are the records, okay, that under traces individuals leave behind, okay, as they use the internet. Okay, so digital footprints are the records and the traces of individuals leave behind as they use the internet. Whatever we are leaving as a record or traces of ours, okay, that is only known as digital footprint whenever we are using the internet. So your interactions on social media, okay, uh, your friend circle on social media sites and sites you visit, online purchases, locations visited through Facebook check-ins, etc., all make up your digital footprints. Okay, how the digital footprints are framed, what kind of friend circle you are having, and interactions what you are making with your friends, and whatever sites you are visiting, online purchases, locations visited through Facebook check-ins, everything is making up the digital footprint. Okay, a common comparison to digital footprints is the footprints you leave behind you when you walk along a beach. Okay, so when you are walking along a beach, you are leaving your footprint no there, but every step you take leaves an impression on the sandy surface that allows another person to see the marks that your activity has made and offers the possibility for them to follow your trail. Okay, so they'll be following your impressions on the sandy place. Okay, sandy surface. So digital footprints are also referred to as digital tattoos only. Okay, digital footprints, otherwise we can call it as what? Digital tattoos. Unlike a beach footprint, which will eventually fade away after a few hours or few days. Okay, the internet, the and any electronic event in general does not work the same way. It will not fade away after few days. It is safe to assume that anything you do, publish or post online may be there permanently and won't be washed away, faded away. Okay, so mistakes aren't as easy as they used to be, because once we post anything in online, it stays forever and cannot be undone. We cannot undo it. Okay, so digital footprints last forever. Every time, every now and then, it will be there in the social media only. And colleges, jobs will look back at them. Okay, colleges, if you are going for admission, joining one college, if you are joining for admission in one college, and jobs you want to get in one organization, okay, they will be looking back at your social media profiles, all those things they'll be checking yours. Okay, so they'll be look back at them to see if you are what you portray, and then how you conduct yourself actually. So your conduct and your portray, everything will be seen with the help of these digital footprints. Okay, so digital footprints can be of two forms, that is active footprints, which are formed by your online activity you do knowingly. Okay, so you, with knowing you will be doing some kind of online activities, that is known as active footprints. Passive footprints means which are formed by any and every activity that you perform online and you do not even know about it, like your searches, your online payments, games you play, etc., without knowing, only simply for the interest, to shake off interest, sake of your hobby, you are doing all these activities. This is known as passive footprints. Active footprints means like messages, if you are typing to your chatting with your friend, you'll be knowing that what you're typing. Okay, so that is known as active footprints, which are formed by your online activity you do knowingly. Okay, so these two types of footprints are there in the digital footprints. Next one, privacy settings. So whenever we start using the social media, you should not go with the default privacy settings. Okay, rather it is always good idea to set up privacy settings yourself by using account settings. Okay, through privacy settings you can control who all can see what you have posted, who all can see your photos in your Facebook. Okay, all these things you can restrict. Okay, so who all can send requests to you, and what all information about you is visible to others, even to your contacts. So in your contacts, what all is there, to whom and all you can show your information. So that things you can restrict it in your account settings. In short, you should always set up privacy settings for all types of social media you are using. Okay, and some of usage rules in social media, that is etiquettes means some kind of rules what we need to use in the social media. While using social media, if you conduct yourself in a responsible way, that is if you are behaving yourself in a if you are conducting yourself in a responsible way, you can enjoy using social media and can utilize its power for yourself. So you can power of maximum utilization of the social media, you can maximum use it for uh, getting benefits. Okay, but if you are not using in a proper way, surely you will be inviting the some kind of imprisonments and fine also. Okay, so for this you should follow the following usage rules applicable on the use of social media. That is, first etiquette usage rule, how we can use the social media, is be authentic. Authentic means what? you should use your own identity in order to talk with your friends in your in a social media or in a Facebook or Twitter or anything. Okay, you should not use others identity, so be honest about your identity. In personal post, never present as authorized person of an institution or organization. So in a personal post, you should not say that I am a manager or I am a CEO of this organization. So like that and all, you should not never present yourself. Never pose as authorized person of any organization or institution. Represent yourself in a clear and honest way without boasting. So without cheating or deception, without doing any deception activity, you just represent yourself in a clear and honest way. That is only first etiquette. Okay. Second etiquette is be secure. That means while creating social media accounts, always choose your passwords carefully. Your password should not be easily guessable, like your surname, school name, date of birth, that and all you should not keep. You should follow the practice of choosing strong passwords, that is mix of uppercase and lowercase letters with some digits and some kind of symbols also you can include with that. Maximum of 8 to 20 characters you need to set as the password. So frequently change your passwords. Never keep your password for a longer time. Okay. Not using the same password over multiple social media accounts. Don't use the same password for multiple social media accounts, where Twitter and Facebook and WhatsApp. So like that, you should not use same password for again. And never sharing your personal credential like your username and password with the others. Identifying fake information, fake post, fake news, never and never to trust them. Okay, if you are identifying like these kind of fake posts and all, don't trust them. Next is be reliable. Be careful what you upload, as once something is uploaded, it stays forever on the internet even if you delete it. Okay, if you are associated with an institution or an organization in some form, like a student or faculty or a staff, etc., if you are connected or if you are related with any institution, so what you need to do, and you are sharing your personal views about something, use a disclaimer to make it clear that these are your personal views and you know you are not representing any institution or organization here. So like that, you need to use the disclaimer statement. Okay, that means this is your personal views, it is not going to hurt anyone. I'm not pointing out any institution or organization. Like that, one statement you need to write in your personal views. Okay. And next one is don't pick fights online. So even if you get kind of some kind of negative comments about you, also don't pick fights on the same social media. Okay, so you can directly call that person to your home and you can speak with them. Don't use the online media for making a fight. Okay, sometimes people may respond to your post in a way you do not find good. So in such case, it is advised not to pick up fights online, rather convey your unhappiness through constructive posts or messages while carefully choosing the right words. So correct words you use it and convey that you are unhappy with their posting. And if however the posts are too derogatory, if it is making you getting a very anger means and fall into category of trolling, that is cyber trolling, like that, if they are sending their messages or posting their comments means or cyber bullying, then handle it in the way we mentioned in the earlier section, that is report to cybercrime activity, cybercrime cell. And don't use fake names or pseudonyms, that is never pretend to be someone else. If you think that making an anonymous profile would hide you online, you are mistaken. Modern tracking tools can easily track supposedly anonymous posts and their authors. Thus anonymity online is a just myth. Okay, just a myth only. So easily they'll be getting your information by using the IP address. Okay, and protect your identity. While you should be honest about yourself, but you should never provide or post personal information online. The scam artists or identity thieves, what they will do, they keep looking for such things and can use your information to conduct some fraudulent activity or criminal activity. This never list your full name, parents' details, home address, or telephone number online. It is a good idea to create a separate email address that is used only with a social media site. So for making use of in social media alone, you can create one more email address. Also, you should never share about your location online. So whenever a browser is asking share a location, we can view the location. Like that, if any notification is coming, just block it. Okay, so thieves are always ready and love such opportunities. Okay, never share your location. And does your information post or post pass the publicity test, that you need to check it. That is whenever you are going to post some information or comments about anything, you need to check whether you can able to read that comments and all in a happiest way, or whether you are able to whether you are getting angry by seeing the comment like that. You need to check publicity test. That means you as a public, you need to think you as a public, and you need to read the comment before you post any comment on yourself. Okay, so before you post something online, perform publicity test on it. That means if your post or message is not acceptable for face to face conversation, okay, over the telephone also or in the other medium also, then it is not acceptable for social networking site too. So whatever comment you are making it, it's not able to say in a face to face manner, or over the telephone also we cannot share that message. So like that, any kind of messages are there, please never post those kind of messages or postings on the social networking site too. And ask yourself, would I want to see this published in the newspaper or posted on a billboard tomorrow or 10 years from now? If your answer is yes, feel free to post it. Okay, and respect your audience. Sometimes school or college students talk in a slang or use some abusive words which they find okay within their small group. Okay, but the same things must not be posted online. Okay, you can call some persons with their nicknames, that and all we should not post it in the social media. Don't use slangs or personal insults, obscenity, or engage in any conduct that would be not be acceptable in your connected world. Okay, and next one is respect other sentiments. You should always respect other privacy and be considerable for topics that may be considered sensitive, such as politics and religion. If anyone is discussing in your group, friends group, whatever they are discussing, don't say any negative comments on that. Okay, thus you should never post anything that may compromise someone's privacy or hurt someone's sentiments. Okay, if they are liking one politics or one political party or religion, let them enjoy. Okay, so because they are liking it, so we should not hurt by saying some postings or comments or something. Next is monitor comments. So this with this your cyber safety chapter is over. Okay, so these 10 etiquettes or usage rules we need to follow whenever we are using the social networking sites. Okay, most people who maintain social media sites welcome comments. Okay, it builds credibility and community. You should prefer to review and approve the comments before posting them on your site. Okay, this way you will ensure the quality of the comments, but this also needs that you should respond in a timely way to the comments, so that the comments posting happens in a stipulated amount of time and it is not delayed over unnecessarily long period. Okay, and with this we have to come to the end of this chapter. So we can go through the topics whatever we have discussed again. Okay, and you can be ready for your test also, and we can see the next lesson in the next video. Okay, that is chapter 16 about viruses, worms, and how we can prevent those viruses, prevent our systems from viruses and worms. All those things we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.